about me, about Columbus, Walter Raleigh and Francis Drake, but they write his story for Queen City they didn't make. So Nevisians who have made contributions are bypassed and neglected, and foreigners dominate the island's history instead. So I contacted a historian to rectify that for me, because the history they teach in school means nothing to me. Nevis history must deal with Nevisians and not men from foreign countries. That's a disgrace, and I say that I am not pleased. So I tell him, Mr. Historian, listen to me. Write a few chapters about with us cricketers, Willie Tartar and Parry. Man, they put the name and will land on the map universally. Put down their names in the pages of history. Write it. In entertainment, we're among the greatest. That is a fact no man will deny. Have you reached the top of your club, but all of them try. The late Joe Cammy was the greatest masquerade. No other mask could dance more than he. It used to be fun to see the man shake up his big belly. And Lord Cam was the first Nevisian ever to cut an LP, although I understand that he only sold 2 or 3. We invented the fret we call culture, a man, Calypsonian, Bahawla the Meek, created cadre to make rock and roll to the beat. Mr. Historian, listen to me. The best string bands in the Caribbean come from where? Tell him! And those folklore dancers are the best thing you'll ever see. Excellent talent for the pages of history.
Get along, get along.
With foresight and men of great courage, men with unique ability, are easily found because they abound in Queen City. Little Zumba is a big-time drinker. This midget to drink with apparencies. He's the smallest big-time drinker in the West Indies. And Sammy the dynamic dreamer, into the future the man could see, but his crazy dreams and schemes never become reality. And we have our own Christopher Columbus, brave like Columbus who came from Spain. He sailed a windjammer through the eye of a hurricane. Back on again, Mr. Historian, listen to me. We have men here who we can compare with any great man from anywhere. And that ain't no fun, I say write it down so the world could see our achievements in the pages of history. Sergeant Van Samari, test selectors, rob them of their glory. Put down their name in the pages of history. Write it. When the land was dark politically, this man played his part, so I want to see him down your name in the pages of history. Give the man credit, plenty credit. Just keep him far from the cash.
Yeah, sons of the man, King Ginger, out of Queen Kitts-Nevis. That's one is called The Pages of History. I'm JefroyMorrishaw, and I'm coming to you live and direct from the Gaza here in the Boogie Down Bronx. And a lovely Wednesday evening. And we come with the usual conversation about what's happening in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis there this afternoon. But before we get into our conversation, let me drop another track here. This one is by my good friend there, of course, from the island of Antigua, Little LA. My brother, the King Short Shirt, is saying, in spite of all hardships and misery. So let's drop this one. That definitely reflects us there. in our Twin Island Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis. The King Short Shirt.
At long last, out of chaos and strife, we found a hope we've never known. A glimpse, just a glimmer, just a gleam, but a flicker of light like I have never seen. The voices of my people tells me that we're reaching maturity. Their spirit shows that determination for a new society. Though plagued by injustice, misfortune and strain, and constant oppression, I enforce our change. Though we fail to get along, there's one thing we have in common. The oppression we bear will forge us as one. Yet in spite of all our hardship and misery and poor economic condition, we must struggle on. The state of affairs at the moment indicate that a stand will have to be taken soon by the people ourselves, for our future's sake. Can't allow all our time, efforts and talents to waste. If we open up our eyes, we could soar the skies and make this island a paradise. We can unite, speaking with divided voices. Rise, 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 rise. People, open up your eyes.
Together, larger, large.
Produce, that's the answer, produce. Develop our own, use our own, and own our own. Despite our political views, we must all understand that we are part of this island. And the same stick lick in the wild goat is the same stick lick in the tame. Everybody drifting in the same boat, we all sinking just the same. Some of them are claiming that they have this country at heart, but their actions are showing they're splitting the people apart. Man, they pulling and tugging, we so colorblind we can't see. There's no wonder we are used and abused constantly. Yet in spite of all our hardship and misery and poor economic condition, we must struggle on. The state of affairs at the moment indicate that a stand will have to be taken soon by the people ourselves, for our future's sake. Can't allow all our time, efforts and talents to waste. If we open up our eyes, we could soar the skies and make this island a paradise. We can unite, speaking with divided voices. Rise, 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 rise. People, open up your eyes. Perhaps, just perhaps, I thought the pressure we feel that is revealed the world around would serve us as a lesson that ought to make us aware the needs to create lifestyle more sound. The principles of capitalism has left us an empty shell. The decadence of society is the results as well. Promote cooperation, knowledge and skill, and industrial programs that will be producing a strong and hard-working man will be glad to own a piece of this land and be rid of this cancer foreign domination. Yet in spite of all our hardship and misery and poor economics condition, we must struggle on. The state of affairs at the moment indicate that a stand will have to be taken soon by the people ourselves, for our future's sake. Can't allow all our time, efforts and talents to waste. If we open up our eyes, we could soar the skies and make this island a paradise. We can unite, speaking with divided voices. Rise, 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 rise. People, open up your eyes.
Yeah, that's the sound of the man King Short Shirt there. People, open up your eyes. Reaching across the waters to our sister island, Kitts-Nevis. Open up your eyes over there, folks. We just finished Culturama. The partying is over. Now it's time for action on that lovely island, that beautiful island, as we continue to strive, as the Prime Minister says. We have to have a state of affairs we can take care of our business. Huh? We cannot do it without the work. We have to put in the hard work. Don't sit back and wait. I've been hearing enough of the division I have spoken to say we are waiting. Waiting for what? You got to put in your work and decide the destination that your island travels. Don't be like that trailer I see running off the road there a couple of days ago. That is the kind of leadership you have in Nevis at the moment. So let's refocus, reshape Nevis, and get things going. Let me say good evening to some folks there in the Federation. I want to say good evening to our Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Jew. Prime Minister, he should be joining me at some point this evening during the broadcast to give us an update on his views and what the accomplishment of his administration in the last 12 months. I look forward to that conversation, that chit chat. Also want to big up the entire federal cabinet of St. Kitts and Nevis at the moment. Lot has done, lot still to be done. We just have to work hands in hands and support the folks that we are elected to do a good job. You know, for the past couple of weeks, my boy Dwyer has been consistent with his messaging, and today is no different. I look forward to dropping that commentary from Dwyer today, following up on the last 2 weeks. Very lovely commentary, and we're going to do that early o'clock, as there's going to be a couple of guests joining me this evening. The new reigning culture, I'm a Calypso Kingdom, and the Hollywood should be joining me at some point as well. So let me say good evening to some folks here online. Sister Petrona Ballard, how are you doing? Jetty Taylor, Delicious Nicholas Brown, how are you doing? Are you on the door? Solid, Livingston, Dwyer, how are you doing? Want to pick up my colleague, Abby Archibald, have not seen you in a bit. Hope all is well with you. Desmond Tyson, Petrona, Rudolph Morton, good evening. Patrick Brown, Joan Matthews, Lioness Charles, Carmen Libert. How about Monica Saran? Hope all is well with you. Joanne, how are you doing? Good evening. Esther Dieter Markman, how are you doing? How is folks there? How is the weather in the UK? Hope all is well with you guys on that end. Sister Yvonne Jeffords, hope you're doing well there in the UK as well. Clayton Davis, Bo and Evelyn there in the St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. Tanya Powell, good evening. And Evelyn, hope all is well with you and your end as well. How about Joan Matthews? Jefferson Desmond, how are you doing? I also want to big up Monica Brown. I think I did that already. You know, last week I was supposed to say happy birthday to some folks, and I did not get around to it. Got caught up in my technical difficulties there with Brother Parry. I want to thank the Honorable Joseph Parry for joining me last week. I also want to big up the man there, the man Ira McMahon as well, who was a very good contributor a few weeks back, and Dwight Cozier. All you folks, thanks for coming through, and let's start the things them. You know, the things them have to be spoken for us to move our countries forward. I know some people take things personal when you try to educate or try to learn of the happenings, but if you don't ask a question, you cannot get clarity. And if you do not share your views, you cannot educate anyone. All of us have a different mindset, and as much as the truth is an offense, is not a sin. So we have to get into the understanding that we have to have the conversation. If you don't have the conversation, you will not know what the other person is thinking. I want to say good evening to Sister Anne Farrell Smith. How are you doing? Hope all is well on your end. I want to say good night to my boy there, Brother Thaddeus Depaswa. He's online and he's early this evening. Good having you, my brother. Jessica Lewis, good evening. Hope all is well. I want to big up my boy, Elvan Ellie. I know he's on the road there, making his way across the US. Safe travels, my brother, and make sure once you touch down to your destination that you reach out to me and let me know that you're safe. Livingston Brown, good evening. I want to say good night to my sister there, Sister Cicely Brown, Pastor Brown there in Queen City Nevis. And also want to say big up to my boy there, Brother Oscar Brown. I'm going to have a little conversation with you this evening. I understand that you decided to retire without consulting your road manager. I mean, in spite of all and how you feel politically about who I am supporting or talking about these days, the bottom line is we are brother, and a brother is a brother until death. It doesn't matter how the relationship may turn at times. The love for you still strong, still there, and nobody going to change that. It appears the baby Brantley and love you as much as I do, because I see him on stage last week jumping up with Nutsy, when Nutsy is in the same competition as you. So, I mean, what going on with baby Brantley? He only think about himself. Baby Brantley should not be on stage jumping up with someone who is competing against you when you work so hard for baby Brantley. So we're going to talk about those things there later. But in the meantime and between time, I just want to say good evening to Sister Gwyneth Morrishaw. How are you doing? I hope all is well. Sister Estelita, how are you doing? I want to thank all you folks that supported the bus ride last week. Sister Annette Morton, they say she's the white lady with the money. I understand she wins some money there, but she's hiding it from me, but that's okay. I'll deal with Hazel on that one. I also want to say a happy belated birthday to Sister Hazel Claxton. I actually forgot last week was Hazel's birthday. It's only after I signed off, it came back to mind. So I hope, Hazel, you had a very good birthday, and I hope a good body visit you, because everybody deserves a good body, yeah? So I would hope that a good body visit you last week and you enjoy your birthday. Also, my cousin there, Brother Craig Challenger, aka the Sugar's birthday was last Wednesday, the 2nd of August. And again, that slipped me. And I would hope that you had a good birthday. Well. And before I forget, my son's birthday, his birthday will be on the 22nd of this month, the 22nd of August. So I want to wish you advance happy birthday, son, because with these days, anything that can go wrong will go wrong with me. So I want to wish you a happy birthday before you get here. And I will try to remember to wish you a happy birthday every week until it comes, so that I don't forget that you're celebrating. I see you're doing big things there in the LA area. Congratulations and good luck. I want to big up my boy, Julian Pemberton, the man there, Brother Austin Williams, Sister Laura Williams, hope all is well with you. The man Luther Kelly, the honorarium king, they say he giving all kind of honorarium there in the Federation. I do not know whether it's from his winnings, his savings, or he just loved the ladies, but they say he is down the ferry terminal there, giving all kind of honorarium down there every Friday. I also want to big up my boy Geezer there in the Bayfront as you enter the ferry terminal. If you're looking for some good barbecue pork, barbecue pigtail, barbecue chicken, barbecue fish, whatever you want, my boy Geezer has a well-stocked bar and a well-run barbecue grill right there at the ferry terminal. Big up my boy Dudy, the man Billy. How about my uncle there, Brother Joseph Emmanuel there over at the Garvey's estate. The mighty monarch, my boy Mean Green, and the man King Freddy. I understand they'll be entering into the Sugar Mass 52 festivities this year. So I'm looking forward to those two contributions. I also want to big up my boy like Kent, Brother Ken, and Sister Debbie. You know, I always thank them for introducing me to my engineer, the man Ike. Without Brother Ike, this program will be nothing. So I want to big up Brother Ike and thank you continuously for all your hard work and support. Brother Alvan Brown, how are you doing? Reach out to me, boy Carbo. Tell Carbo DJ Morrishaw is online, so make sure he log on and put the information in the thread for Carbo's Delicatessen there in Fountain Nevis, because tonight we're kicking it off hot and we're going to run straight. Soon as we finish chatting with the Honorable Prime Minister, things going to go. Not, we're going to step it up this evening as we continue to keep things live and lively here and the DJ Morrishaw platform. I also want to say good evening to Sister Beverly Morrishaw. Hope you're doing well. Want to big up my boy there, Brother Wallace. My boy Roger Wallace went bowling for the last couple of nights there. It appears as though he had it in for his wife last night, because Deborah came out, said she don't know how to bowl. First time she bowled, next thing, boom, Deborah knock out everybody. Take first place. Roger decided no, he not going back to Tobago, no loser to his wife. So, you know, Roger came back in the second round and take out Deborah. So he should be a happy man going home now. So Roger and Deborah is first and second place in the bowling. I also want to big up Sister Melva. She did well as also in her bowling. So all was good. They enjoy the vacation, I hope, and I want to wish them safe travels back to Tobago tomorrow. I also want to say good night to Sister Melissa Beard. She was here as well, hanging out with the folks. she and Darry is back in Tobago safe. Want to big up Ma, Gloria Beard, and the man Victor Beard, and hope that all is well with everyone. But we're going to go straight into Dwyer's commentary because, like I said, once we finish with Dwyer commentary this evening is straightforward conversation as we move forward. Stand by.
Greetings. In one sense, the Citizenship by Investment program has been a monumental success. And in another sense, it has been a monumental failure. This success is evidenced by the billions of dollars which the government has been able to extract from it over the past 17 years. And the failure is evidenced by the fact that those billions of dollars have not been properly utilized by the government to assure economic and social transformation, stability, resilience, and the empowerment and prosperity of our people. And although I have discussed this subject with you in the past 2 commentaries, in fact, I've been addressing it for the last 17 years. I'm now giving you one more commentary on it, at least for now, because of its importance and because I want to make sure that as many of us as possible understand this CBI and the situation. Remember, the CBI has been contributing about half of the total government annual revenue for a number of years. That is about as much as tourism, manufacturing, construction, agriculture, transportation, and all of the other industries combined. Remember also that it has been the main source of money to meet the $250 million or so annual wage and salary bill for the government, and the $250 million annual bill for STEP and PAP, the peace program, the school books, subsidized health and education, and so forth and so on, and all of those other social safety net programs. And of course, to meet the other costs of running the country, so that it is important to understand the impact of the CBI on our economy and society. And while it is pleasing to know that a single industry has been able to provide such large cash inflows into our treasury, it is and has been for years a matter of great concern to me that successive administrations have been so careless, indeed so reckless with it, and have not learned from the colonial times of the grave danger of over-reliance on a single industry. And pardon me for being a bit repetitive here, but of even more concern to me has been the failure of previous administrations to maximize local value added from the CBI and to use this cash cow to build the foundation for a strong, sustainable economy and society. But while their lack of vision and competence is bad, the most galling thing to me about all of this is the lack of conscience, the lack of genuine commitment to, and the lack of respect for the people of this country, coming from both public and private sector stakeholders in our country's CBI industry. When greedy and corrupt people see money and opportunity to self-enrich, and when they are essentially unregulated, and when they feel that they are untouchable and immune against consequences for their deeds, they go into a feeding frenzy, not caring who suffers or who is robbed in the process. Some of us had the vision and the will to walk the right path and to use the CBI industry to transform St. Kitts-Nevis into one of the world's top small countries. But not enough of us had that vision and that will. Those who didn't were too busy cashing in privately and allowing the platinum brand to be prostituted, to be mongrelized and degraded, as they pimped the patrimony of Liamwiga and Owali to the lowest bidder, and they didn't seem to care. If I sound angry, it is because I am, and I have good reason to be. And you would be equally angry if you understand the full scope of damage that has been done to you and your family and your nation, and you will wish to be sure that those who have caused this damage are brought to justice. And as I've said before, there will be. Nothing can stop it. It's too late. The wheels of justice have been set in motion. And let me assure you that when the culprits are named and exposed and caused to face justice, one of the names that will not be among them, is Terrence Michael Drew. His name will come out as the leader of the rescue brigade. The task fell on him and on those who are with him to clean up the mess. And that is how he will be remembered, based on his performance to date with regard to the CBI situation. You see where we are today? We are vulnerable and facing challenges that will define us and which can destroy us simply because of the lack of vision, because of incompetence, because of greed and corruption of the past, and vestiges of those things still existing. And I will get to that in a minute. You see what's happening in Dominica? Some public workers have not gotten their July salaries and wages yet. Only weeks after the announcement by the United Kingdom, Dominica is showing signs of the pain and the consequences of bad governance. And who suffers? Not those who made their millions from it, but the average Dominican. Suppose the CBI revenue in our country were to drop significantly and stay low for the next 12 months. What do you think will happen here? Think about it. And again, do not forget who caused it. Now you'll remember me saying over time that not only do the CBI regulations need to be changed, but that in order to completely clean up the sector, the bad eggs would have to be removed. And those who stepped offside the law need to be brought to justice. Let me share some details with you as to what is going on. Remember, the minimum investments in real estate were originally $400,000, and that figure has now been restored by the new regulations. Agents and developers started doing deals in which the documents shown to the government suggested that the minimum payments under law had been paid and that sufficient funds would be made available to developers to finish the projects and to do so in a timely manner. But we see and know differently. We see projects that have lingered on, the developers either unable or unwilling to complete them. One of the explanations for this is that these developers were underpricing and breaking the law in collaboration with service providers, and they were being allowed to get away with it by regulators and by an administration whose policy seemed to be that it would not interfere in a private transaction. It would not inquire into whether those transactions were legal or not, as long as the government was collecting its fees. I had a conversation on the matter with a government official some years ago, and he told me that the government does not get involved in private transactions. I think I've told you this before. I was shocked, and I told him that as regulator, the government had an obligation to ensure that all transactions were in compliance with the law. This slack and reckless and irresponsible approach and information about it was later corroborated by a developer who told me that his company wanted to do a project but complained to the authorities that they could not, that the company could not and would not compete in a market where all of these underpricing and illegal activities were taking place. And what did the authorities say to him? They told him, don't bother with all of that. Do what the others are doing and make your money. Needless to say, that particular developer did not take their advice. That happened under the Harris administration. Let me share with you a conversation that I had with a professional in the CBI industry. He told me that in June or July 2022, then Prime Minister Harris was asked a question in a press conference about the prison project granted to Galaxy by him under the alternative investment option, Galaxy being the Chinese group which till to date cannot finish the Ramada project, but is still being allowed to continue. Dr. Harris told the journalist, I'm advised, that he did not know how much profit Galaxy was making on the project because it was a private matter for Galaxy. This suggests from the words of Harris himself that as Prime Minister, he did not know how much the prison would cost and he did not know how much Galaxy was selling citizenships for. Remember, the applications were being made to Galaxy, not the government. And the money was being paid to Galaxy, not the government. Harris said he didn't know, and that was a private matter. This has to go down as one of the most offensive, repulsive, disgraceful, and treacherous decisions and actions by a federal cabinet against the people of this country, whose interests the members of that cabinet were sworn to protect, preserve, and promote. That was the PLP, PAM, CCM cabinet led by Timothy Harris. The professional further told me that our citizenships, which under that particular option were priced under the law at $175,000, were being sold for as low as $25,000, and that overseas agents were being offered discounts of up to $110,000. Again, Galaxy receiving the applications and collecting the money. In the process, it seems that Galaxy was allowed to sell our citizenships at prices cheaper than that at which the government itself was selling them. This is the level of dereliction of their duty and of the disrespect by the Harris administration with regard to the survival and sustainability of our CBI program, with regard to the law, and with regard to the sovereignty of our country. Total sellout, total abdication of responsibility. And I tell you this, nobody involved in decisions that allowed this to occur should be allowed into public office again, not in Bastille. And I will take it one step further. No politician or other person who empowered and facilitated Galaxy and other entities to do this to us should be allowed to hold public office in this country. Indeed, as sure as night follows day, this may sound repetitive, but I'm telling you again, justice will be done. And you need to know that justice is done when certain elements are removed from the landscape. The regulations are being cleaned up. Now the human mess has to be cleaned up. Service providers. The professional further told me that he had received many offers to work with overseas agents who wanted our citizenships sold for sums below the legal minimum. But he refused. In the process, he lost a lot of money, but he retained his integrity and his respect for his country. There are overseas agents who need to be disqualified from our CBI. One of them changed documents and shifted applications from one option to another without the prior knowledge and approval of the applicant. That person is still listed as an approved agent to market our CBI. That should not happen. The bad eggs need to be gotten rid of. There are persons who are not qualified under the law to be in the CBI business, but they are in it, operating through fronts who are qualified, making big money out of it. And those unqualified persons have been facilitated and allowed by the government to operate. There are persons who have run afoul of the law, yet they are still allowed to operate in our CBI industry, run afoul of the law. If you examine the CBI sector thoroughly, you will learn that there are people earning massive amounts of money and paying no taxes. You will find people operating through entities which are not in good standing. The changing of the regulations has been great, and maybe some more changes in time to come. But the next most crucial, critical, and vital step to be taken is to get rid of the bad eggs, those inside and those outside. And I'm calling on the Drew administration to move in that direction without delay. The wheels of justice have been put into motion, and none of the culprits shall escape. Whether here or abroad, the net has been thrown. Thank you, and all the best.
Yes, my good people of St. Kitts-Nevis. As we listen to Dwyer Astafan over the last 3 Wednesdays, tonight is again another height of the nonsense that took place under the former administration under the name Team Unity. And folks, see, me don't want to forget what transpired in the past 8 years. The new Labour administration under the leadership of Dr. Terence Joe was elected on the 5th of August, 2022. Prior to that, there was a team unity administration that did all of this damage to the Federation. We are talking about a tri-party organization. We had the People's Action Movement led by Sean K. Richards, representing PAM, who was the Deputy Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis from 2015 to 2022. We had the former Hag, Prime Minister Harris, who was the leader of the PLP and Prime Minister in that cabinet. We also had Baby Brantley, Premier Brantley, leader of the CCM, still in government in Nevis. Now should be the leader of the opposition, his loyal opposition in the federal cabinet, who is also the leader of the opposition in the federal cabinet. Leader of CCM, the Concerned Citizen Movements and Nevis, who is now the current government in the NIA. He is also the leader of the opposition in Bastille federal cabinet, while his colleagues, the former Hag, Timothy Harris, and Sean Richards, sit on the opposition bench. I don't know what they're opposing there, but according to the word on the street is they're opposing themselves in Parliament. While Baby Brantley performed, instead of him performing his duties as a shadow cabinet for the opposition, he's performing his duties as the shadow prime minister. Those are the realities, you know, my people. Those are the realities. And these three parties under the coalition of the, they say, the unity administration. Sam Kanda said that it was a transactional arrangement. The former Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, said the Charleston Accord that they thought they signed and it steps in Charleston there at the, whether it was the courthouse police station, wherever they signed the accord. They brag about it. That was their campaign slogan. But I live to hear Timothy said that was not agreement. That was not a card. What kind of card they're talking about? Timothy said that the Constitution is what govern the country. There is no card. The card, I mean, that's not even a Honda card. I don't know what a card it was, but Timothy said that was not even a Honda card. But we have moved on, you know, my people. We have moved on. The damage was done. And like Dwyer said in his commentary, the new Labour administration under the leadership of Dr. Terence Joe are trying their best to correct the mistakes, reinstate the Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis in good standing on the international market, and reestablish ourselves. And so far, I know they're doing good. We might not be happy with everything, but they are doing a good job. And I cannot speak for the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister will be joining me shortly to give an update on their accomplishments, what their plans for the immediate future and for the future ahead, not only for the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party under his leadership, but for the Federation as a whole. And in speaking to the Prime Minister from time to time, one thing I like about the Prime Minister, you know, he would say, Mr. Morrishaw, DJ, Jeffroy, whatever he feel like calling me at the time, he would say, you know, we all have our differences and our personal view and situations. But as the Prime Minister of the Federation, I cannot just speak sometimes from my heart the way that I actually feel about certain situations. because government are continuous. And though so much wrong was done to the people and so much wrong was done to the Federation under the Team Unity administration, I have to choose my words wisely, because it is not just about a feeling. It is not just about getting back at this corrupt politician that was there in the Team Unity administration. It's also about our standing in the international market, in the general public. Because keep in mind, whatever we say in the public, these regional countries, everybody that is out there fighting for status, they will eventually use these things against us. So we have to be very careful in what we put out there in the public. And when the Prime Minister breaks down certain things to me, my heart is warm hearing these things, because it tells me that he's not the normal Prime Minister like we had back there in the Team Unity administration and that Nevis Island Assembly over there with Baby Brantley that think it's okay to come on social media and cuss the citizens and respond to all of the naysayers and don't care about the repercussion and the people and on the Federation. Speaking with Dr. Joe, it's clear that he's not thinking about himself, but about the people, the country, and the future of the Federation. So in that regard, I am quite satisfied that though I might have done some things a little different to him, he's on the right path. He knows what he wants to see happen. And again, like I said, I'm not going to get too deep into what has been done or what is going on, because I want to give him the opportunity to speak for himself. But I want to just appeal to you, the people of St. Kitts-Nevis, to just hold a little longer, hold the fort, because the PM, he's coming and he's going to give you his message and where he wants to go. But while we're doing that, while we hold for the PM and continue with our chatter, let me say good evening to a few more folks that I know that is online and listening. I want to pick up my man there, the man DJ Rabuka, brother Lincoln Hobson, aka DJ Rabuka. I want to thank you, my brother, for all of your support and everything that you have done. I know you're dealing with some medical issues at the moment as well. So I hope that all is well with you, your mom, and the rest of your family. I want to big up my brother there, brother Curtis Crook. Hope all is well with you and your family as well. Brother Ike, hope all is well with you. I see my partner there, the big JL. The man take off your locks, take off your hair off your head. He's clean and mean. Clean like the mean machine, ready for action. So the big JL, hope all is well with you, my brother. Again, good evening and continue doing your good work on the Freedom FM. I want to big up Brother Dwyer Astafan, Brother Sam Kanda, the man there, Dr. Martin, Douglas Watley, Brother Big Lice, the man, the Talk Puppy, Brother Larry Vaughan, Ira McMahon and crew. I want to just thank all you guys for your continued support. I want to also say good evening to our Honorable Dame, Sister Marcella Leiber. They hope all is well with you and your folks there. I also want to give my concern there to you folks who was jamming there, understanding the long jam over there at Long Point in Nevis. I understand that there was an incident with the New Vibes band. I hope all is well with the folks that was there. I was getting mixed messages. I see one article said that there was an accident and nobody was injured, everything is good. And when I look at what transpired, knowing how these trailers are set up, I was at a loss to say, well, a tractor gonna go over a cliff like that with a trailer and nobody will be injured from that accident. That did not make sense. But I understand later that there were some injuries. So I would hope that you folks who was injured, that you recover swiftly. And we've been trying to have conversation with the powers that be for years. As a matter of fact, I started my conversation with the chairman of Carnival, Dr. What his name is there? Anthony, lawyer Anthony. I can recall some year back on the lawyer Anthony, I was approached to be one of the street judges for Juve. And I accepted. And when I got to the office where we met to decide on how things gonna go and discuss the rules and pick a chairman for the committee, I remember my boy, Brother Wusi, was also one of the judges that was selected. And at the office there, at the Carnival Committee office, I remember when Lawyer Anthony asked for the group to select a chairman, or head of the team. I remember Wusi raise his hands and tell everybody in the room, listen, there is nothing to discuss. The most qualified person to lead us is Mr. Morrishaw, is DJ Morrishaw. So let's make him the person in charge of the judges and whatever from there. And there's a lot of things that transpired during Juve morning. And I took my notes and went back and I spoke to the Carnival Committee. And one of the problems I see, apart from the safety aspect of the covering of the wheels of the trailer and stuff like that, is the height of those speakers, the way that those trailers are constructed, and the weight for those tractors. And if I can speak to them about those safety issues and flat land, could you imagine that kind of weight coming down a hill? But just like they had told me here in the job in New York, when I used to report safety matters to them, they used to tell me, well, Mr. Morrishaw, you might be correct in your assessment, but nobody dead yet. So when somebody died, we might consider it, because it costing, what you're talking about, it costing us money to put these safety effects in place, and we don't want to spend any extra money. But like I told them, in the long run, the couple of dollars they're trying to save might cost them a lot more. It's going to cost lives, and it's going to cost money, because when people start suing them, they're going to find out how much it's going to cost. So what transpired in Nevis for me a couple of days ago with that trailer, that should have never happened. If they had proper procedures in place, the Carnival Committee, here in the New York area, here in New York, when we do our Labor Day stuff, we have 3 checkpoints, minimum, 3 checkpoints before you can hit the road for the mass players to join you. Before your float can even hit the parkway, the first thing that you do, you got to put all your safety things in place, make sure that your sound system is strapped and secure properly. The height, there's a requirement of the height of the speakers can be. And that's something that is really needed in St. Kitts-Nevis. Some of those speakers are too high in the air. They need to limit the height of those equipment. And that's the first thing to check for here. Your height, if your height of your speakers is too high, you're already disqualified. You're not going on the road. They check your safety sidings, your covering of your wheels of your trailer to make sure that no one will get pulled underneath there. That's something that they check. They also, the driver, I'm talking about 3, is more than 3, it's a whole bunch of stuff. But the height of the speakers, the safety of the trailer, the weight, your trailer is separate from what pulling it. The driver of that tractor trailer, the tractor that pulls the trailer, their license must be up to date with no fines, no tickets, nothing is on it. They must have a clean driver's license. The insurance must be up to date for the trailer. The driver's license for the tractor driver must be up to date. You have to have a minimum of $1 million insurance as the band leader, such as myself. Just in the event anything happen, people can get what is due to them. A whole bunch of things that needs to be done before you can hit the road. And people need to understand these things. Because if you don't have these things in place, all you're going to have is problems. All you're going to have is problems. So at the end of the day, I would hope that at some point in time, the people with the power, the people in charge in St. Kitts-Nevis, and my boy, Brother Clement Monarcagaro, is now the person that is, I understand he's the director. of the Carnival Day, Sugar March 51. I hope it takes some of these things into place, because at the end of the day, we have to, I have to speak to him about some of these safety measures that is taking place there in the Federation, so that we don't have this problem again with people getting injured. I want to big up my boy there, Brother Eustace James. I hope all is well with you, my brother. Good evening, Loretta Clark Queely. How are you doing? Hope all is well. Hilla Brown, there in the Virgin Islands. Hope all is well with you. Sister Janice Daniel Hodge. Hope all is well with you. There's so much things that we have to put in place in our lovely Federation. And if they would just listen to some of the concerns or advice, because when I talk to some of the people over the years, you know, their thing is, oh, you all believe because you're all in America, you all know everything. We could do this, we could do that. But no, there are things that people have the gift or have the experience, and they could see things happening before they happen. So we need to just start, listen a bit. You don't have to do what I say, but just at least listen. You know, if the farmer had listened to me, we might have had a annual labor administration in so quick, you know, because election was during 2025. But this farmer have decided he don't need to listen to this little black boy from St. Paul. So you see what happened to him, eh? So let me keep it that way. All right, so I want to touch base here and just big up a few folks. Like I said, your brother Eustace James, good evening. I hope all is well with you. Sister Brother Ivor Henry, hope all is well with you as well. How is the wife? Hope all is well at your end. Avanis Jeffers, hope all is well with you. Ruby Walters, good evening. How are you doing? Denicius Nicholas Brown, Rudolph Morton. Also want to big up my boy, the Brother Henry Daniel. Welcome to the program, my brother. Teacher Daniel, hope all is well with you. I want to touch Evan Jeffers there in the UK again. Sister Sandra, hope all is well. How is Sister Millie, my angel? I hope all is good with you. The man Alman Hutchinson, I want to big up my brother there, Brother Vanterpool, the Lord Ranger, the King Ranger there in the UK as well. Good evening, hope all is well with you. Gwendolyn Duncan, good evening, hope all is well with you. Bernadette Tyson, Sister Debasso, hope all is well with you. Bisha Stapleton, good evening. Dan Fernandez, hope all is well with you. Celine Jeffers, Sister Selena Tobias, hope all is well with you. Brother Carlton, how are you doing? So basically, we have some issues there in the Federation that we definitely have to address and deal with. And if we don't face these things head on and try and fix them, we're going to continue to be faced with this problem. We have to be able to give our input. Not because you give an input, you're cussing the government. You're bringing stuff to light that you think can make a difference in other people's life. That's what it's about. Not to cuss. You're just outlining stuff that you think could make a big difference. It's like my boy Carbo. He has been consistent ever since I met him. I've been him talking about small business. And according to, when I listen to the Prime Minister and other ministers speaking about small business and their plans for the Federation, it sounds all good. But the small business folks, they're still complaining. So maybe if they listen to these small business owners, they might give them some ideas on how to soften the blow, how to fix some of the damage that is going on. Because when I speak to the local man there in the local villages in St. Paul's, in Keon, in Halfway Tree, at the ferry terminal in Bass there, when I'm in Charlestown, Nevis, they say, Morrishaw, you know, We are not saying the government not doing anything, you know, the government is doing. But we are talking about the immediate effect that affect me personally. They want to know what is being done to get some cash in their pocket, things brown. And if you all look at what's taking place, you know, you all realize the farmer had started going to church again. Remember, he has stopped going to church because he figured at the time the kind of blows he get from labor that he don't stand a chance. But with all the nonsense that going on, he feel like he stand a chance again. So he start going to church, you know. He start going to church. But what Dwyer spoke about in his commentary there earlier, we would have to be crazy, very crazy, in our beloved federation if we want to give any succor, as Baby Bentley would say, to people of the likes of the patch-up fella there, and Ham and PLP and CCM in their current state. I'm not saying that these parties cannot redeem themselves under new leadership with new candidates to better the country going forward. I will not say that, but not with the current slate of candidates and leaders they have. We are concerned, Ham under the leadership of Sean, PLP under the leadership of Timothy Harris, and the CCM under the leadership of Baby Bentley. They had the opportunity. They screwed it up royally. They leave the country in a mess. And for the life of me, these people got the guts. They got the gall to come into parliament and stand up with all these ideas they're giving like they wasn't there before. If you listen to them speak, you would think there was not in government before. You wouldn't believe 12 months ago they was in government. You would not believe it. All of a sudden they got all the answers, they got all the ideas. But they were there before. So what happened? They only get ideas when they're in opposition. This is what we're dealing with. These ministers of government, they get smart when they're in opposition. Good evening, Honorable Prime Minister. You're looking good. Your screen is good there. Tap your screen, open your mic, please. You know how we do it before I even get into conversation with you. You know, we have to drop our anthem. So just let me set up that. Let me drop the anthem and we get straight into the conversation, Honorable Prime Minister. Tap your screen, open your mic, please.
Good. Yes, all right. So I do agree with that. Good evening to you. So let's do that. I'll just, you know, go through, I give everybody a private moment to, you know, respect the flag. As you can see my flag, as I stand at attention as well.
All right, okay.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yes, Honorable Prime Minister, good evening and welcome again to the DJ Morrishaw's platform. And it's good to have you. But my first question to you before we even get into any conversation, so is how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Yes, thank you very much. I am doing much better. You know, I went through the loss recently, and since then I'm doing I would say a lot better. You know, it was weeks of dealing with the illness of my father, and then his death, and then his burial and so forth, which all of us go through at some point, but it has its own process that must be gone through. I was able then, since that, to, I went over to Nevis to enjoy the culture. I went there for a couple of days. I didn't just want to pop in and pop out, but to really get the chance to savor the activities there and to really mingle with the people of Nevis. So I would say I had a fairly good weekend of mingling, but apart from that, of getting some relaxation at the same time. Culturama, as you know, is a festive time, a festive period. So just being around people, mingling with people, enjoying the festivities also is a way in which one can certainly relax. So I did have that fun time, and at the same time was able to touch base with the good people of Nevis. Okay,
great. Okay, before we get into the conversation, Honorable Prime Minister, now, we, the Kitts-Nevis Division, knows who is Honorable Dr. Terence Joe, but for the world that might not know who you are, could you just give a quick synopsis of yourselves and your role in the Federation?
Yes, I think we have been through this one, but for those who don't know, I'm the 4th Prime Minister of St. Kitts-Nevis, elected August 22nd, elected leader of the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party. And so basically we are just a year in to our 5-year term. And therefore, for those who are listening, I think we'll be speaking to a number of things that we would have done during that time and to discuss to do an analysis of that first year in office. But I'm a medical doctor by profession, as they might know, but I think serving people is really my deepest love, really. And this gives me an opportunity to serve people and on a different platform. So I'll just give a short synopsis. I think most of the people who are watching, they know. All right, thank you for that.
Okay, great. So this evening, I will introduce you as Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Joe of the Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis. And this evening, Mr. Prime Minister, is very simple because you're here to give a synopsis or an update on what you can in regards to what you met as a cabinet or a government or a prime minister when you got there, and what you was able to accomplish, where we are going, and your plans. So basically, this is your platform this evening.
Right. Thank you very much. As you know, I have another activity just happened. It's on a Wednesday evening when you host. On Wednesdays, I go out into my constituency. I was out there today seeing people one-on-one, where I saw dozens of persons there, which is part and parcel of being parliamentary representative. So I would say, basically, when we got into office, we met an economy, our finances were in deficit. I want to state that, and I said that we were in deficit. Of course, that was challenged, but that was easily proven. It was easily proven that we were in deficit. In addition to that, we had a number of unsustainable things happening. For example, we know that part of the election strategy by the previous administration was to use all the social programs really to win votes. And so almost you just put people just put on all of them, whether it is STEP, PAP especially, just arbitrarily. Land were given, and these lands, some of them were triple book and quadruple book to some extent, where we had 2 and 3 names on each plot of land. Some lands, plots did not even exist, and this put us in a quagmire, a legal quagmire, where we had to slow down the land processing and really get a grasp as to what was happening. So that was a major impediment into our land distribution efforts and so forth. The economy, as I said, were in a deficit, and we were on a path of unsustainable. As a matter of fact, it was recommended by financial institutions that we really need to mainstream these social programs, and we need to cut back. But I said we cannot cut back as much as they had access to, because our people, of course, need the help. And so we held on to those programs to protect our people, to the point where we are spending about a quarter of the budget on social protection, whether it be STEP, whether it be PAP, electricity subsidy, and other social programs like the school uniform program, the children health program, and so forth. $250 million so 25 to 30% of the budget is spent on social protection, protecting our people, controlling inflation, and so forth. The other thing that we met, apart from the abuse of the land distribution, the social programs that were abused as well, the economy in deficit, we met economy that was closed or partially closed because of the restrictions, the COVID restrictions, and those restrictions we later found out were totally unnecessary. And so on the 7th of August, 2022, we actually lifted them. And so we had to do those things, open back up the economy, get the economy back in the positive, get rid of the deficit situation at that particular time. The other matter that we met were the issues of the banks. We know that National Bank had suffered possibly its first loss in its history and was not able to pay dividend. We know that Development Bank was a quagmire, continues to be so, but we are working through it. Social Security had taken a significant hit as well, as that was in also the red. So we had multiple institutions in the red that we really had to pull out and get back on the path to growth and sustainability. We also met lack of water. No investments in water were made, absolutely none. A lot of the water cries that you're hearing is because we have a significant drought now because of climate change. It might actually turn out to be the worst drought that we ever had in our history because of climate change, and we're waiting on numbers. And as a result of that, areas that were vulnerable are suffering the hardest, like places in deep Upper Cayon in Whites and so forth, places deep in Upper Monkey. So even though people are crying for water, they just can't get water because there is just not enough rainfall, and we depended heavily on rainfall. And as you know, the previous government had stopped bead from drilling. We brought back bead immediately, and you can see now bead has struck water in Cayon. And they went down about 500 feet, found water, and excellent, a well thus far. Now we have sent that water for quality testing, and we are hoping for the best, that is quality potable water close to, so that we can treat it and get it to the people as soon as possible. So no water was there. Also, we had electricity outages because we needed new generators. We invested in about 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 generators, about 2 new ones, and we had to repair about 2 of them, sending parts to France because it had not been repaired for years upon years. And therefore, the electricity was actually cutting out. We had blackouts, and we decided St. Kitts-Nevis will not go through blackouts. And with that, we also subsidized the fossil fuel to the tune of almost $8 to $9 million per month, which is extremely expensive, just to make sure that our people can have electricity in their homes. So the water is a bit delayed because that is much more difficult to deal with. With electricity, you get a generator, throw in diesel and it works. But with water, you need to get to a well, prepare the well, or a desal plant, you need to expand it, you need to build it. And so therefore, we are now dealing with the issue of energy, water, technology, and getting the country back on track. Of course, we met a lot of issues to do with the procurement, that people didn't follow any rules, they broke all the rules, a lot of corrupt practices in almost every department, especially the Development Bank, what we actually met there. And therefore, we know that the country needed to be put back on a footing of stability, sustainability, and respect. We have to get back out to the international world and tell them that St. Kitts-Nevis is back. St. Kitts-Nevis is a country that they can respect once again and do good business with. We know that a lot of banks did not want, and still they do not want to do full business with Development Bank because of the bad history, but we are getting that back on track so that we can be back on track we can be back in the good books rather of the international financial institutions, so that we can make sure that we get the bank in a state to really deal with the needs of our people. And so as you go across, lack of water, lack of energy, the financial institutions, that we have to make sure that they get back in good stead to do the social programs and protect them, and so to start back on, open up the country, open up the economy, get back on the stage of growth and development and so forth. So those are a number of things that we had to do as soon as we get back in. Of course, there would have been some delay in some of the things that we want to do, but we know we have provided thousands of jobs thus far. We have stabilized the economy. The economy the footing is very strong as such, and we are looking forward to a full recovery for 2024. And so I'm asking people to be patient with the St. Kitts-Nevis Labor Administration, which is just a mere 12 months old and is really pushing to make sure. But so for the future, an immediate future, we see excellent things that are coming. But I would also like to touch on the CBI program and doing things to protect our passport and our visa-free access. That has been a work, a tremendous amount of work that we had to do, DJ. People don't know a tremendous amount of work. A lot of things happened that should not have happened, DJ, but we were able to do what we had to do to make sure that we protect our passport. As you know, even the Canada partial visa that we have now, we have not gone back to full visa access. And I saw something going around on the internet to basically speaking out against what we have achieved. But with the Canada issue, that is a tremendous achievement, because now you can enter into Canada through here, through an ETA, that's just signing up, just a few hours before the flight, so that you are clear for the flight. Before, you had to travel out to get a visa to travel to Canada. Now, if you had applied for a Canadian visa in the last 10 days and have an American visa, then by ear you can enter into Canada, filling out an ETA. And so therefore that situation has improved, but it is not perfect, of course, as yet. And so we had to do significant amount of work. When it comes to crime and violence, as you know, there was a spike in crimes and gun violence. It has dropped significantly. It is not where we want it as yet, but we have been able to put solid, good measures in place to stabilize that situation. And I want to thank the Commissioner and, of course, the Commander of Defense Force. And we have two experts who are with us, Dr. Rollins and Dr. Powell, both who are citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. They have chosen to take pay cuts from wherever they work to come to St. Kitts for some time to help us to stabilize our national security apparatus. So that too is on the way. And we have done tremendous work and we have seen benefits thus far. So it's almost every single sector that we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we had to go in and do significant work because of the significant damage that had been done previously. And so we are basically poised and set really to have excellent 2024. Tourism is expected to bounce back fully in 2024. Our construction, our major capital projects are about to set off. That includes the road to St. Peter's, which is a major project, which would last over, which will take maybe over a year. We have, of course, the housing. We have already launched the housing, and we're going to be building a lot of houses here in St. Kitts and Nevis as well, and that is going to stimulate the economy. We are now expanding agriculture, which we are looking at the orange economy, as you see what we did with the music festival right now. We have CONCACAF going on, and then we have CPL and so forth that will be taking place in St. Kitts and Nevis, the golf tournament to take place in October. Then we're going into the Christmas season, which will be an active season as well, with tourism back to full steam, and the expansion of course, the airlift to bring people into St. Kitts and Nevis. So in a sense, we have really set the foundation now to move forward. When it comes to healthcare, there have been tremendous improvement in healthcare as well. And I want to say, DJ, before allowing you to ask your questions now, is that our nationals in the diaspora, they have been playing an active role. We have been, and I have been searching them out, because I've said the experts that we need exist among our people in the diaspora. For example, at the hospital, we had Dr. Ted Hanley. He's from the diaspora. I've asked him to come in to help us with our healthcare system to get an accredited hospital. DJ, you have been in the healthcare system in terms of dealing with standard procedures, that type of expertise we need in the hospital for some time for us to get to an accredited hospital. Dr. Rollins and Dr. Powell, who are security experts who we have brought back in. In the past, our envoy, lawyer Hadia Claxton and Mr. Stephen St. Just, who are doing that work. In the past, the reason why I'm mentioning how much of our people in diaspora are now participating in this government, because in the past, we used to look to other nationalities and so forth to supply that type of expertise. Not that we don't have to, but I've found that expertise resides in our people in the diaspora. And as I said before, I will actively search out the expertise that we need in order to help us to build St. Kitts and Nevis. So I'm saying to the people in the diaspora that we need you. And we are building out our diaspora secretariat, which will be made up of Mr. Duncan Watley, Dr. Walwyn, and also Mr. Larry Vaughan. And that secretariat will have direct interaction with our people in diaspora so that we can have a place where our people in diaspora can call home as they try to make contact with St. Kitts-Nevis to offer whatever services, advice, or whatever, to just participate in nation building on a whole. And therefore, I want to say to the people in the diaspora who are listening to this show that you may be called on, or if you submit to us what expertise you can offer, and we can see where it is. Because as I have pointed out these names, we have a number of our people in the diaspora who are experts who have deemed it necessary to contribute to the advancement, development of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I would leave it there for you, DJ, so that you can ask any questions, any question that you might have or your audience might have, so that we can develop the conversation. But as I told you, just that happened on a Wednesday, I have my constituency day. And tonight I have an event because the regional pharmacy organization is here in St. Kitts. They're having the retreat here in St. Kitts, a convention rather, here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I've been asked to attend and to say a few words, but I did not want to miss the opportunity to have this conversation with you. And I intend to come back very likely within the next 2 weeks so that we can continue the conversation as such. So I would say the first year was about stabilization, and now so stabilization, sustainability, and now is the time we are set now to take off in terms of a number of critical initiatives that we want to do, especially those to stimulate the economy even more.
Okay, thank you, Prime Minister. As you said, I know you have other engagements. We wouldn't hold you too long this evening, but there's two things that I would like you to touch on. As I know sometimes when you're speaking, folks tend to maybe not pay close attention, and when something hit the media or these fake pages, they act like it's the first time they're hearing it. I can recall on this program sometime back, it might have been your first time after you became Prime Minister, you spoke about the housing project that you was going to be working on. And you speak about local contractors will benefit. And nothing else had became of it. You went across to England, I think it was, and some article from Trinidad hit the social media, and they had you to kill that you did not come to the public. And I know that you spoke about that. So if you can just expand on that a bit.
You are very correct. I had spoken about that program over and over again, even before the fake pages picked it up to spread malicious lies, deceit, and misleading information. I would say that with that housing program, we said that we had an investor who would come in and partner with NHC. They will, of course, bring their monies in to invest in the housing. That would afford us new technology, more affordable cost, and allow more of our people to own homes. I speak to that. The contract was signed, and the contract actually says that at least 90% of the workers must be from St. Kitts. I spoke to all of that, and you're correct. Then you see some fake thing come out about housing program in St. Kitts to be done and local contractors not to be given jobs. That was blatantly misleading, and it was exactly done to spread misinformation. So for clarity, again, they have seen the contract if they want to see the contract. It is clear in the contract that we said at least 90%, and it could be higher than that, I really think so. At least 90% of the workers must be from St. Kitts and Nevis, must be local workers. And I want to clear that and clarify that. So even this week, when we went and identified the land, we reinforced the point that the vast majority of workers must be from St. Kitts and Nevis. And so, DJ, you're right. And thanks for the opportunity, again, to clarify it. And I even spoke on it before, the fake pages. Everything that the fake pages say, if you go back and listen, you would recognize that I spoke about it. It is just that, as you say, some people choose not to listen to it then, or some people want to be part of the propaganda and not allow the truth of these situations to be had and to be said.
And another thing I picked up last week during the height of you dealing with your father's funeral was another article about the CBI. Again, I heard you spoke about changes have to be made to the regulations for the CBI to get it back in good standing based on what was going on. Last week, it was a big query about that as well. So can you expand on that situation as well?
DJ, thank you again. Since last year, we started to make changes to the SRNOs, to the regulations last year, not this year. One of the first things that I asked the AG to do when I got in is to look at the CBI and start to change the regulations to make sure that we are not put on the chopping block to have our visa access removed, because we had a lot of damage done, especially the one with the hush puppy issue. That damaged us, especially some arrangements that were made by the previous administration that damaged us. If I had not moved so quickly, if we had not moved so quickly, believe me, with certainty, we would have lost our visa-free access. So this is not just any comment. It is a good thing that this administration was proactive, open, and transparent. Since the very first week that we got in office and the AG was asked to start to look at the SRNOs and to quickly move them. So we had the first set change even before December last year that came into full effect early this year. So when what happened now with the CBI saying Kitts-Nevis is far ahead, and then we were able to complete the changes that we needed to do in order to show that St. Kitts-Nevis is in compliance with what we are supposed to be in compliance with. Since then, we have had discussions with the British. We had discussions with the EU, a delegation that I led while I was in Brussels to discuss with the EU about the CBI programs. We have sent our changes back to the EU, back to the UK, and I'm looking forward now to discussions with the EU, and I plan to revisit Brussels and to revisit to have that discussion that we need to have with the EU. So I want to say that we have been very proactive. The housing program was not first mentioned until last week. We were talking about that for a while now. And the CBI program, we had started the changes since last year. If we had not, we would have been on the chopping block. But we are moving in the right direction. That is why we were able to also get our partial visa access back into Canada, because we have shown the international community that this administration is serious about living up to good and proper standard. Stuff like the hush puppy did not help us, and that case is still going on, still vigorously investigated, and we'll hear about that shortly, not by us alone, but by external governments, not by us, by external governments. We have, of course, other investigations going on because of what took place. But as far as the CBI is concerned, I am proud to say that we took quick action since last year, made significant changes, and then come back again and completed those changes. And those changes have put us back in the good books. However, we are not totally out of the woods with all of this because our administration is only a year old. But I would say, thank God that we acted quickly, decisively, transparently, openly, and we were engaging with our partners. And so, DJ, I think the people of St. Kitts-Nevis should appreciate the significant effort made to bring back our country into good stead and to help to protect our visa-free access to these jurisdictions. So far, we have been successful in our negotiations. We have been successful in our diplomatic outreach. Because of what was, the questions, we have to keep working, keep having dialogues, keep collaborating with our good partners in the international community. And so we'll continue to do that to protect the good name of St. Kitts-Nevis. And I would say that because of that, we are in good stead. And that is why we were able to have at least partial visa-free access, visa access into Canada.
Mr. PM, you touched on it earlier when in your opening, but I want to bring it closer to home because our people tends to have some either memory loss or something when they are supporting the political parties.
Yes.
During the last administration, there was a lot of non-nationals. When I say non-nationals, folks who are not from our area, who was appointed to top positions or other positions in our bill of federation under the then Team Unity administration. As a matter of fact, I would say, according to the saying back then, one family could have sit at a breakfast table on a Sunday morning and determine the destination and whatever for our beloved federation. Government change just about little over 12 months ago. And as you rightfully said, there are a lot of talented nationals, our citizens around the globe, that you have tapped into and will continue to tap into. And when I'm hearing people making noise about hiring, bringing back home our nationals that could help develop and lay out our country, it really hurt me, because these people that are talking now, they was there for 7 years, you know, Mr. PM.
Yes.
And they do nothing for our local people, you know. Not that they did not know the talent was there, you know. They knew the talent was there, but they had no interest and no confidence in the people. So exactly. I would like you to speak to that, Mr. Pierre.
Well, that is exactly the point. For example, the head of our CIU is now Michael Martin, who is a local. That position was held by a foreigner, and you did not hear their voices. We have talented people who can take these positions. When I talk about national security, I see people attacking Dr. Lionel Rollins, petitions attacking him. Can you imagine that, when before our NSA was a gentleman from Jamaica? But I have found the talent in our diaspora, and you want to attack on frivolous things? That is what I'm talking about. Our envoys, Hadia Claxton, who is the daughter of Dr. Stephen Claxton, God bless his soul, a long-standing obstetrician, gynecologist in St. Kitts-Nevis. Mr. Calvin St. Just, who grew up on Market Street, our envoy. I'm just naming a few persons to show that we are serious about bringing our diaspora to fill the needs that we have. I'm very serious. And so when I hear people criticizing our people who have been brought back home to lend their expertise in areas where we had to look to other nationalities, and they were quiet then, why is it they want to criticize their own people? Why is it the opposition who, those people who are in opposition to us, want to now criticize the fact that we have hired our own people into these positions? I will only hire someone who is not Kittitian if we cannot find the expertise among our people, because the expertise exists. Dr. Ted Hanley, who is now helping us to build infrastructure towards an accredited hospital. Why should I seek the expertise outside of our people if that exists within our people? Of course, we have to collaborate with others, which I'm not afraid of, which I think is necessary and we should do, because we have good partners and great partners. But where we have the expertise among our people and we can send our people to train, let us use our people. So I will say, really, it is just political bantering and people who seem to have amnesia, political amnesia, selective amnesia, forget who was the head of the CIU was not a Kittitian, forget who was the NSA was not a Kittitian. How can they forget these and want to now criticize Kittitians who are occupying these positions? I will say, come on, stand up for your people. And you have a very large diaspora following. And I want to say to the people in the diaspora, we need you. If you have an expertise that you see we need, write to us. We will give you great consideration. If you see that is an expertise that we need. I want to say to our people in the diaspora, come to St. Kitts-Nevis and invest. Invest your money here as well. There are opportunities. We have to build this thing together, and you are welcome. We want people who want to be in the renewable energy space, how to deal with climate change, how to deal with the sargassum seaweed. I know we have experts out there who can help us to deal with these things. These are issues that we are facing. We are asking you for your help. And therefore, I will continue to engage our people in the diaspora. I'm setting up a secretariat just to deal with our people in the diaspora, which is a very large population and a population that has a great deal of resources, be it human resource, financial, and otherwise, that St. Kitts-Nevis, your country needs right now so that we can continue to build towards a sustainable island state. We intend to create the first sustainable island state in the Caribbean region, and we are asking for your assistance to do so. So, DJ, you're right. I want to know if people have selective memory, amnesia, and I want to say to people, stop attacking your own people. It is not good. Your own people who want to help to build St. Kitts-Nevis, Come on, let's build this thing together and help to build each other. And don't pull down your own people for somebody who is not from among your people. And you should not pull down anybody at all. But especially when you're pulling down your own people who sacrifice salaries, who sacrifice where they're living sometimes to come back and relocate and so forth because of love of country. And you want to criticize them when they want to contribute. I cannot subscribe to that. So these petty talks on these fake pages being pushed around by people who want to somehow put the government in a bad light with their nonsense. Because a lot of this information don't come from official pages. They come from fake pages like Times Caribbean, fake pages like SKN Times that is being run by Wally and others to try to undermine the government. We will not accept that anymore. Come forward with your own name. Come forward with your own face and debate the issues. Debate. I am on the radio taking calls. I am on social media taking calls. Come on and debate and stop these fake pages of Times Caribbean and SKN Times and these fake names trying to spread misinformation. If you have the information, come in your own name to debate the members of this cabinet. That is what I would say to you, DJ.
I like that, Mr. PM. We're just about 9 minutes before the 7:30 hour, and I want to give you the chance to have your closing as well. But there's 3 questions that's online. Let me just give them to you quick.
Sure.
And then we could give you a chance to run. The first one is, when will these criminals from the former administration that have done so much wrong to the country, when will they be brought to justice? I know you might not have the straight answer, but this is the question in the general public.
I will say, with respect to that one, DJ, the necessary investigations are going on. As I've said, I am not witch hunting. I am about justice and restorative justice. And there are processes that must be respected to make sure that this is done in the proper way. So I'm not out there witch hunting at all, but I want to reassure the people that investigations are going on. And especially the hush puppy case, you will hear of that shortly, not even in our jurisdiction, but in jurisdiction outside of St. Kitts-Nevis. With respect to what is taking place here, you will hear. Because we already done the forensic audit that was done in the development bank, we have now gone further to have that look at, and therefore that is being done, and therefore that information will be made available to the general public. So we are pursuing this. This is not a witch hunt. This is about justice, and I want people to understand that. And that is why I'm not dealing with this in a particular vicious type of partisan way to make it seem as if we are hunting for people. No, where we find wrong, we are seeking to follow the process to make sure that that wrong is sought after and the corrective measures are taken.
Great. Thanks for that response, Mr. PM. Again, yes. Myself and the people online, they are saying that they appreciate the fact that you went across to Nevis and celebrate in the cultural activity. It was nice to see you on the island. But one of our regular listeners to this program is asking the same question, and I'm going to read it. The persons have the moniker of Delicious Nicholas Brown, and she said, DJ JefroyMorrishaw, please ask PM Drew, when does he plan to go to Nevis to meet with the ordinary man and woman to hear their concerns? They are waiting to see him and get his undivided attention. Again, Mr. PM, as I've said previously, going across for Culturama, going to the opening of Parliament and all of that good stuff, that is not a problem. The people love all of that, but the folks want to feel their Prime Minister, and not just in Nevis. The folks in St. Paul's, they have said to me, DJ, the Prime Minister might not be able to do anything for us, but we just want the opportunity to sit with him, have a drink, and have a conversation. We just want to feel our Prime Minister's presence. And this is what the people are asking for.
No problem. And I think that that is very reasonable. That is why I went over to Nevis to step up my interaction and engagement with the people of Nevis. And I can say over the next few months, and going forward, you will see that. That is why I like politics, interacting with people and meeting people. I would say that the first year, a lot of time was spent on stabilizing the country because of where we met it. I couldn't allow this country to go down the drain. I had to get back out into the international world to spread the news that the word that St. Kitts-Nevis is back, and we are ready now to deal even at the international level. So that took a significant amount of time and work. Now, as you can see, I've been over to Nevis in my constituency office today, and and so therefore I am fully back and engaged. And so you'll see me down in St. Paul's, if not been there a few times, chilling on the block. You'll see me moving around. I started to meet the persons who are business owners, the small business owners and so forth, letting them know that they have my full support and so forth. So I'm moving around, back in the community, back into the country. Now that we have stabilized the ship, we are ready now to take off. So I think we have done a significant amount of groundwork to establish the foundation. And Miss Brown or Mr. Brown, I didn't get the first name. I don't remember the first name.
Delicious Nicholas Brown.
Okay, all right, good. So I would like to say to Brown that definitely I'll be back in Nevis to engage with the people, to hear from the people of Nevis. And I'm happy that the people of Nevis are inviting me over to Nevis to have conversations with them, and also the people in other areas in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so you'll see me continue stepping up my engagement with the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So definitely, I want to thank Nicholas Brown for that comment, and they can certainly look forward to seeing that in the very near future.
And there's another Brown coming at you, but in the form of a compliment. This
Yes.
one is Monica Brown saying the reason why they are attacking the overseas national is because Harris say who out, stay out. So those losers don't mean any good for the Federation. Keep up the good work, Mr. Prime Minister.
And I would like to comment on that, because what she said is true. And she has dragged my memory. Even I remember when he said out, stay out, and who in staying, disrespecting our people in the diaspora. And I will never do that. Those are our people. And I see value in them, DJ. Value in persons like you who have a particular expertise. Value in those who have brought on in the government to help us. I see value in them, in our people in the diaspora, rather, in terms of helping us to build our nation. And so I'm going to engage the people in the diaspora in a significant and profound way. And that is why I'm not setting up a desk. I'm setting up a secretariat to deal with diaspora affairs. So our people will forever feel connected to their country through that secretariat.
Great. Mr. PM, I know some folks thought you misspoke earlier when you said you was elected in 2022, but I think they think you said the 22nd. So let's correct it that the Labour administration was elected on the 5th of August, 2022.
2022. Right. So if I said the 22nd, I mean 2022. All right? Okay, good. Yeah, so thanks for the opportunity to clarify that.
But Mr. PM, even though the election was on the 5th of August, 2022, you actually was installed on the 30th of August at Warner Park. So is there anything special going to be taking place on Sunday and that anniversary?
Right, so we have done some anniversary stuff, but what we are significantly concentrating on this year, also while we do that, is that this year is a significant milestone for our independence. And we are going to go all out for independence. We want, of course, our diaspora to participate wherever you are, to have significant independence celebrations. If you can come home to St. Kitts and Nevis, come home and celebrate with us. So we have that with us, DJ. So we want to, while it's very critical that we celebrate the first year in office, we want to make the independence this year as big as possible. So we are trying to, handle both things at the same time. So you will see us move heavily when it comes to the independence, just because of the significance of the year in terms of completing those 40 years, and in terms of what it means for our people in general, what it means for the region, what it means for the world in terms of the independence movements. So this is a significant year in terms of that.
Well, I do not know if there's any plans for it, Mr. Prime Minister, but for the 40th anniversary, I am saying to the Calypsonians out there, at home and abroad, St. Kitts-Nevis, is that I think it's very important that you all knock together some independence tune. I want to hit my guys like Lord Kent that came back some year ago from St. Lucia, and he saw the donkey them start getting smarter than the people of Newtown, and he said he see progress. So I have reached out to Latke to tell him, well, partner, this year I want to see you sing about progress, because there's a lot of progress. There's a lot of progress that have taken place in the last 12 months. And in spite of how some may feel, it might not touch their pocket directly, but the Federation and a whole have felt some serious advancement. And I am also hoping that my boy Carbo, I know you went across to Nevis, Mr. Prime Minister, and it's unfortunate that you spent a night in Nevis and didn't reach across to Carbo's. You know, I still have that fish and punji waiting.
Yeah, we still have to reach. We have to reach by it. We have to reach by it. If you allow me, DJ, when you call, we need to go and get that fish. But as I have to wrap up because I have to run now.
Yeah, no problem. You can do that. But I just want to put it in there that we have to go across to Cabo.
The St. Paul's Lime and Cabo. So I want to just run through a number of quick things that we did, because as I said, sometimes it's not just, we are speaking of significant things that we have done thus far. And this, sometimes, Barack Obama said something that I read that was very critical in politics. He said, from day to day, sometimes you are criticized and so forth, but he used to look at the long, he looked at the broader picture, and he looked at the long run. And he said, when he see where things will end up, it brought, solace to him and comfort to him, even in the everyday bantering in politics. And that is why I know the things that we are putting in place will benefit our people while we seek to protect our people as much as possible. And so I know they will feel even more positive things in their pockets, but we had to put the foundation in place, which we have done. One of the things that we have done, DJ, that I did not mention is the good governance laws, integrity in public life. Don't ever forget that. That was being spoken about for years upon years. And in less than a year, this new Labour administration put the integrity in public life legislation into effect. So I'm hoping to see others. I saw the members from the CCM with their folders and declaring. We did it. We have started the process. I'm yet to see some others to start the process as well. We were serious when we say that we would introduce and give teeth to the integrity in public life laws. Remember, this was one of the big platforms that they ran on in 2015 and did absolutely nothing. Even the public accounts committee, they made weaker. And so in less than a year, we have done this. So we have really created the foundation for takeoff. So let me go through some of them. 1, we have opened up the country. 2, we ended COVID-19 protocols. 3, we saved the lives of a lot of sick children by paying for emergency overseas medical care. We introduced free tuition at CFBC. Our students don't have to pay for college anymore. We reduced student loans from 9% to 5% at the Development Bank. We moved import duties on school supplies, and we gave 2 back-to-school VAT days for this year. We paid GAE retired workers their well-earned gratuity, which was taken away from them. We paid 2 cash CBI dividends to our national. We subsidize and we continue to subsidize electricity, gas, and water to save our people money and to make sure they have water and electricity. We brought back partial visa-free access to Canada, and I want to thank those of the previous administration who worked on it, but we really had to go and seal it, especially when they saw the significant changes we had made with respect to our CBI program and so forth. We brought back visa-free options to travel to Canada, as I mentioned, save the CBI industry and preserve our good name by creating strong regulations, which we started last year, install the first ever female governor general, committed to build 2,400 houses, which we have now identified, and we put out that last week. We passed 23 laws strengthening good governance and domestic violence protection, filed first ever declarations to the Integrity in Public Life Commission, brought JetBlue, Inter-Caribbean and Caribbean Airlines to St. Kitts-Nevis, drilled and found water in Cayon, that long-standing water problem in Cayon, and climate change has made it worse. I'm getting a lot of licks for it, but I say, this is a problem that has been compounded with climate change and the lack of rainfall, but nothing was done in the last 7 years to address the water problem. So this is partly man-made as well. Agreed to urgently build 2 million gallon desalination plant in Bastille, hosted the biggest music festival. The music festival, we know, is critical as well for our development. Resolved the land distribution corruption. We had to do that. Committed free land titles to lifetime residents of Upper Monkey and Lagweed. So we gave them the land for the time that they initiated the medical cannabis industry and fixed cannabis laws, created and passed the historic Rastafari Rights Recognition Bill, launched the first Ministry of Creative Economy, committed to provide greenhouse villages to St. Kitts, which we have started. We formed the Corrupt Peace Program into Elevate, promoting actual life changes, committed resources and hired new professionals to tackle crime and prevention, two of whom are our nationals from overseas, and Dr. Rollins and Dr. Powell, and I want to thank them. Ordered and procured the MRI for the JNF Hospital, saved Development Bank and National Bank, give them good governance, but National Bank is an excellent bank, doing extremely, extremely well. We have started another national tour in the diaspora to mention is Leo Estridge. Mr. Estridge is a dialysis expert out of, well, a technician out of Canada, and he brought a team here last week to train our people. So you see them up and down the place running about dialysis machine oil. These are the kind of nonsensical things that people in the opposition are saying, trying to fool good thinking people. So I want to thank them for coming here and expanding our dialysis unit and making sure that we have enough units in place. So a significant amount of work for first-year government. And so now we are getting ready to launch all of our, a good number of our capital projects. And so I want to say clearly that we have done a significant amount of work. And the last one was the eye clinic at the JNF. I don't know if you know how important eye surgeries are, but there were no eye surgeries taking place in St. Kitts. People were turning blind, and our program was able to save a lot of their eyesight. As you saw, there was a lady by the name of Miss Maxine Balla from the village who gave her testimonial that she could not see. She had the cataract removed, and now she can say how thankful she was. Also, we have saved children. No longer do parents have to walk around, sponsor sheets, and GoFundMe, and launch GoFundMe pages to save their children's lives. There was a lady from Connery by the name of Miss McDonald, whose child was saved as a result of this program, and she expressed her thanks as a result of that. So, DJ, I would say to you and the audience, this is a significant amount of work that have helped a significant number of persons here in St. Kitts-Nevis. Of course, we are taking some heat as well because of certain things, but I think we have delivered well, and we'll continue to deliver, and we'll continue to get better as we go along. So we have done a significant amount of work, and I'm proud of the number of things we have done in such a short time, things that will last St. Kitts-Nevis for decades to come, like integrity in public life, rights to Rastafari, the cannabis bill, the anti-domestic violence bill, the eye clinic and so forth, saving the children and so forth. These things will last a very, very long time. So I'm happy thus far in setting those things, and now we are ready to take off with another phase, which would be our capital projects, and that will inject a significant amount of money into the economy and provide a significant number of jobs for our people. So I feel positive about where we are. And as Barack Obama said, in the short term, you might take some heat because, as you plan and, you set the foundation and people don't see all of it at the same time. But when that starts to roll out, they would appreciate the work that you were doing to ensure that your country continues to rise again to #1 in the OECS. And so I want to wrap it up there, DJ, as I get ready to join the pharmacists of the Caribbean at Marriott Hall at the, as they have their convention going here in St. Kitts.
Nice. Mr. PM, when you get an opportunity, you check the thread. There's a lot of questions and suggestions and compliments there
yes.
for you guys. But there's two things I would like to bring to your attention real quick, because you mentioned one, and I think they go hands in hands. You spoke about the public integrity that is being enacted. That is from the federal level.
Yes.
Yes, we are happy for that. But about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, there is this program with Carlisle Powell, a guy, my good friend there now, Tulu, and Kelvin Daly. And Carlisle made a statement about the fact that he's not a leader of the opposition in the Nevis Island Assembly in Nevis, which means the, what do you call that office there, the same thing, the integrity office or something in Nevis?
Yes, yes.
Is not constituted. Are you aware of that? Is not properly constituted?
Well, yeah, that's a matter of the Nevis Island administration. With respect to the Constitution, those things that are under the purview of the Nevis Island administration, I respect the Constitution, I respect the people of Nevis, and I don't get too involved in. So I will not speak too much on that, as it is under the purview of the Nevis Island administration itself. However, from the federal level, those who are part of the National Assembly at the federal level, they have to file their documents, and that is being done. As we speak, I know we have started the process. You may not complete it the first day, but it's a process and you have a window in which to complete it. And I'm hoping that those who have not gone as yet will go. As you know, Dr. Douglas and Ambassador Leonata were overseas, and both of them have returned and are now making sure that they comply with that. And I'm asking the other members on the opposition bench, which is the member from number 7 and the member from number 5, also to join them in making sure that they file their documentation as well. They may have done it. I'm just encouraging them because they were not there on the first day.
Okay, but some clarity that I wanted on that Nevis matter is that the fact that our AG is the AG from a federal level, would the AG be responsible in that area and dealing with that part of Nevis to ensure that that area has been dealt with?
Well, I'm not sure. If you were to ask me, my own sense is that he may not get directly involved in that, but I can reach out to the AG and get his legal position on that. So I will answer that way.
Okay, I'm going to make life easier. I'm going to reach out to him myself.
Yes.
There's a comment here from my good friend here, Kelvin Daly, as well. And I think you should be able to answer this one. He says, so a secretariat, yes, that's the word. A secretariat is to be alongside an already robust consular corps, but no word on the expansion of the federal office in Nevis. This is a missed opportunity. Yeah.
Right. So basically, multiple people have spoken about the federal office in St. Kitts, in Nevis, to have it, spruced up and stuff like that. I would say that of course will be done. This is a young government, and we would approach it in a particular way. But our engagement and my engagement with the people of Nevis, of course, you will see that go into a different gear. With respect to the secretariat, I don't know which secretariat he's speaking about. I don't know if there's a secretariat to deal, if he's talking about the Nevis affairs or anything like that, but I'm not sure which one he's speaking about.
Now, he's speaking about the one you just spoke about.
Oh, the secretariat to do with the diaspora.
Diaspora, yeah.
Yeah, of course, that secretariat is critical because our people are living in the diaspora. And of course, our federal office is also critical. But remember, that is not the only way in which we relate to the people of Nevis. The Nevis, they have representation inside the parliament where they can actually speak to the constituencies in Nevis, and I get a chance, of course, to debate issues that might come forward. So that is not the only way in which we do that. We have a relationship with the Nevis Island administration, and I've met with the Premier of Nevis on multiple occasions, and also I've met with members from the NRP as well. So that we have met, we have discussed, we have looked at issues to do with Nevis, and any federal program that is to be implemented. The people of Nevis must also benefit significantly, and they are. The CBI program, they benefit from that. The federal, and I make sure that they are beneficiaries from the federal programs that are put out there. For example, having the military in Nevis, and we are looking at establishing a base, the police in Nevis, and we are looking at, of course, dealing with two police stations over there. So we are making sure that these federal programs are touching Nevis. As I said before, a child in Gingerland should have the benefit that a child in St. Paul's has, because we are one federation where the federal government is to act. The federal government must act in order to make sure that divisions and petitions benefit equally. So I would say there's significant engagement on multiple different levels between St. Kitts and Nevis. And I'm happy for the invitation to hear that they're asking me to come and open up the federal office and make sure that that interaction takes place, because we know from history what took place in around 95, 96 when that office was first opened. And we know that the history says that the office was vandalized at that particular time. But to hear now that I, as the Prime Minister and the leader of the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party, is being invited to come over to Nevis to interact on that level shows that they have been progress in terms of the integration and unification of St. Kitts and Nevis. So I take that with a smiling heart and to say, indeed, we have come a long way politically, and we have come a long way in terms of our closer integration and union as two islands.
Great, Mr. PM, and thanks. I'm going to wish you well on your way out. I hope for the rest of the week all goes well with your plans in the Federation. Your brother Kent, Lord Kent, says to wish you and your party, the Labour administration, happy on the first anniversary. And he's still begging all, don't let the country fall, as he says in his song. So the folks in the diaspora here and online, they are wishing you well. They are proud of you and the accomplishment of the Labour administration. Let's continue to work together. We understand, Mr. Prime Minister, that you're busy. We also understand that there might be things that you guys had in your manifesto that have not come to fruition, but just let the people know. Speak to the people. They will understand.
Yes, right. And I did some of that tonight.
All right.
So I could understand where we were working from. And as time goes by, they will see a lot of those. We accomplish a lot and a lot more to be accomplished, because we intend to really meet our people's needs and to make sure St. Kitts and Nevis gets back to #1. Thank you very much, DJ.
And I like how you say St. Kitts-Nevis, because I'm going to drop a track here. You don't have to listen to the whole song, but I want you to understand the words of King Ginger.
Yes.
It says the time to unite is now.
Is now. And now. I am fully on board.
I realize that. So we got to really, we cannot just say the words. We have to play the part.
We have to do the part.
Yes, we have to play the part. So Mr. PM,
yes,
nice speaking with you. And I look forward to having you back at a later date when you have a little more time to chat with us. Stand by for the King Ginger.
Yes, and I'll talk to you privately.
Yeah.
Citizens of St. Kitts-Nevis, wake up. Open your eyes, arise from your slumber. Hatred for one another must stop. We're blood family, separated by water. As we grab at each other's throat, foreigners sit back and gloat. Some of them really hope we'll destroy this country. Let's move in one direction. Show the world we have a plan as a people with one destiny. The time to unite is now. It is the only way how we can regain our pride, my brother. Fight the urge to pull apart and say that it's time to start to try and pull ourselves together. Brothers and sisters, neighbors and friends, time for the hostilities to end. Dispel the disgusting trend to offend each other. We can't continue to row. We must make a change somehow. And brothers, the time is now. Whenever foreign investors come, we open our doors and rush to fill their agenda. We give them some of our choicest land. Whether or not it's cash they come here to launder. Some run from prosecution for crimes in their own homeland. Some come down with the notion they go find cheap labor. We can't lay into their hand. Let's defend this little nation from the return of the white massa. The time to stand up is now. It is the only way how things can be rectified, my brother. Tell them leaders play their part. Sit and have a heart to heart. Get smart, don't let outsiders take over. This land is not big enough to share. There is not 1 acre to spare. Foreigners who come here can't lay claim forever. We can't continue to bow. We must make a stand somehow. And brothers, the time is now. Foreigners come and charm us with smiles, but all the while they're harming with children's future. Realize their smiling faces tell lies. Our children's cries must not be the fact of this matter. History teachers, don't you forget, they once came with chains and muskets and exploited our forefathers out of land and labor. We are going to relive that pain if we let foreigners obtain the land we've maintained for the youth's future. The time to stand up is now. It is the only way how we can remain in stride, my brother. Utilize your head and heart and say it's time to depart from the divisive ways we have. Don't be a pawn in the white man's game. Our forefathers would be ashamed to realize so little has changed. So many years later, we can't continue to bow. We must make a change somehow. And brothers, the time is now.
Oh yeah. King Ginger. Yes, the King Ginger there, and that one is The Time to Unite Is Now. Yes, I have to, I guess, check my specs here. I do not know if my brother Daly miswrote the name Secretariat, or I'm seeing the wrong things here on my screen. But good question, brother Daly, and we'll continue to ask the questions and keep our eyes on the prize, because, you know, we owe it to our federation as citizens, not as pundits, to represent the people and represent good governance, you know. So we will continue to do our part. I will reach out to the AG to get some clarity on that situation there in the NIA, and the AG is due to come and chat with me as well, you know. So I look forward to him coming here to give us some updates. After 12 months, I think there's a lot that he has to give to the people. He's the hardest working AG that the Federation have ever seen. So I know he got some good stuff to present to us. Also, it's what? It's about 1 minute before the, 7 minutes I think before the 8 o'clock hour here. So I will not bring on Brother Hollywood again this evening because it will not be fair to me. I have to go overtime. And I'm not going overtime tonight either. Brother Ivor Henry, I know you want me to continue overtime schedule, but not this week. I have to get up early in the morning to make an airport run. So we're going to stop on time this evening. So I'm going to ask my brother there, Brother Hollywood, to let's book for next Wednesday, and we could have a comfortable conversation. Like I said earlier, I wanted to speak about my boy, the King Astro. Oscar Brown, the King Astro. I am somewhat disappointed to hear that the King Astro has called it quits. But I have seen many artists call it quits and the next year they're back on stage. Hollywood say he retired as well, and now Hollywood is the reigning king. So I would not really hold fast to Brother Astro. But what I would say to Astro is whatever is going on, take the time, take as much time as you need to think about it and reflect. But you still have some performances in you. I'm pretty sure my brother the Crusader, Brother Pension, still have ink in his pen. He have ink in his pen and he has lead in his pencil. So I know there's still some masterpiece out there that you can throw down on stage and regain a crown whether in St. Kitts or Nevis. So take the time out, Brother Astro, to reflect and do what you have to do. I mean, if I was in your position after the display last week, I might have been upset as well, because you're out there supporting Baby Brantley in everything he do. You got his back, and you're in a competition where Nazi is competing against you. You're competing against Nazi in the same competition, and you're gonna tell me that the premier went up on stage to perform, to give Nazi some little points above you. You know, once the premier go on stage, the judge is going to get bamboozled, and you know, Nazi will get a couple extra points. And if you're upset with the premier for going on stage with Nazi, don't cut off your nose to spite your face, partner. The art form is bigger than Premier Brantley. The art form is bigger than you and I. Do not let no man take your talent from you that God put towards you. Right? So I am asking you, Brother Astro, rethink the retirement prospect. And I will be calling you to discuss it with you, Brother Astro. I will be calling you. Whether you want to take my call or not, I do not know. But we're going to have this conversation. I think as your road manager, you won the crown for Sugar Mass in St. Kitts. And when you won your crown, I make sure I spoke with you. You gave me the okay. I went across to St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. I spoke with the Carnival Committee. I was able to book you. Your first appearance in Carnival in the Virgin Islands, we went there together. I was your road manager. So for you to just decide to retire without considering DJ Morrishaw, I got a problem with that. And for you to give everybody else credit for your accomplishments and everything, and you didn't give DJ Morrishaw no credit, I have a problem with that. Because we are bigger than that, we're better than that, we are more than friends, we are brothers. You sleep in my house, I bring you to New York to perform, I come to Nevis, you take care of me. When I was locked down in quarantine over there at the Royal St. Kitts, when the farmer had locked me down in quarantine, you and Brother Murray, you all make sure you jump on a boat, came down from Nevis, and make sure you brought my supplies, my foods, and whatever cost to the quarantine. You took care of me as a brother. Miko did the same thing when I was at the OLE in quarantine. So, Brother Astro, in spite of how you may feel politically, we are brothers, and we are concerned, we are brothers until death. So we consider your retirement, and you need to consult with your manager, DJ Morrishaw, before you retire. You can't just retire so and leave me hanging. These are conversations you must have with your roadie, right? So I'm gonna drop this track for Baby Brantley now. My partner from St. Paul's, King Sobi, sing a song some years ago. And that song, I'm sure it's more than 30 years old, 20, 30 years old. And today, it's genuine for Baby Brantley because he ungrateful. Everybody that this man come around, he destroyed their life. He destroyed them because it's all about Baby Brantley. You know?
You will give 100% of kindness, and all you'll get in return is enemy. When man heart is corrupt, it's resistance to love and change. Even when the atmosphere calm and quiet, they shall possess hostility. But it's the nature of the people that surround you. They will come and eat and drink and then go talk you. Sometimes I try to see if I can find out why. Every time a black man waits 1 foot off the ground, is the next black man right there to pull him down. You work so hard, just get something in life they wish you bad. And all of a sudden jealousy and envy, they start wondering who you think you be. Man, they diss you family. But it's the nature of the people that surround you. They will come and eat and drink and then go pong you. And always wishing the worst for somebody. No good for nothing bastards. Where I say, all you better mark their faces. Hey, dang, dang, day. Hey, dang, 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 day. Just watch those dogs. Be aware of them dung pan dogs. Cause if you keep their companies, you will be infested with fleas and you will surely suffer. Those parasites, they are hypocrites and parasites. Man, they will use you for everything you have, and when you got nothing left to give, they target another victim. What is the nature of the people that surround you? So they lie wicked and bad, so they envy, and always looking to prey on somebody. No good for nothing bastard. Where I say, all you better mark your faces.
Mark up, fellow. Baby, brother. What?
Hey, land and day. Hey, land and dang day. Stay on your guard.
Oh, yeah.
Say, do not let down your guard.
Oh, no.
Not even if they separate their tongue, cause inside their head they have another one that is more vicious and lie. All their motive is to make you cry.
For sure.
Cause they love to spread rumors around and drag your good name into the ground.
I saw the baby.
What is the nature of the people that surround you?
Tell me.
They will come and eat and drink and then go pong you. They always running their mouth on somebody. No good for nothing bastard.
What's this behind?
Where I say, all you better mark your faces.
Yeah, man, the mark up, fellow. Baby, brother.
Hey, land and day. Hey, dang, 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 day.
Wicked track there, boy. So be wicked track. I just love that tune. I just love that tune. Them worthless backside. Dirty bad. Mark the face. I want to say good evening to me boy Shabby Dan one more time. I think Shabby Dan celebrated birthday yesterday as well, you know. Happy belated birthday, Shabby Dan. You got things good in the Federation without me. This time last year I was in the Federation. Getting ready to change the things them down there. Get rid of them nasty, dirty, corrupt. Call themselves unity. Why unity about them? Not a thing unified about them. A bunch of dirty vagabonds got caught in there in government 2015 to 2022. I don't want to see them back in government. I hope I don't waste all your time with them. You hear me? I want to say good evening again to my partner there, Uncle Joseph there at the Garvey's Estate, the Melhouse Guest House there in down there in the boys area there. Fairviews in area there. Don't forget to check Uncle Joseph for your weddings and parties and everything there. If you're looking someplace to hang for the night or for the weekend, check out Uncle Joseph there. He will definitely take care of you. Good night, Brother J.T. Taylor. I hope your partner is on as well, boy. I hope you got something to listen to because I ain't going late tonight without you at all. So I'm just getting ready to drop my unofficial anthem here, and I'm going to be out of here shortly. I want to big up Sister Ann Farrell Smith one more time. Hope you had a good evening. I hope you enjoyed the program this evening. Sister Cora Bennett, thanks for your usual support. Continue to keep this program alive and lively. Sister Beverly Morrishaw, thanks for your continued support as well. Gwyneth Morrishaw, my son there, Jeffroy Jr. in the LA area. Good evening, sir. Sister Jazz, Brother Junior Greer, Adrian Greer. My father there, Brother Alfonso Morrishaw, made 90 last week. Sister Alicia, Sister Esther there in the Tortola area. I understand she's traveling. I hope she got to her destination safe. She and my niece there. Want to big up the man Mokish. How about Brother Joseph, Jeremy, my brother there, Jean Paris, Sister Trouble Paris, and your brother there. Hope all is well. Gigi Williams Keith, good evening. I hope all is well with you. My boy there, Brother Cabo, hope all is well on your end, my brother. Looking forward to head across to our sister island there in the not too distant future. Spend a little time there in Fountain with you and get some of that lovely goat water and my fungi and fish. Want to touch my girl there, Sister Naomi Ward, Naomi Butcher, how are you doing? Good evening. Sister Rosita Pontina, Ione Mitcham, Ione Door. Janet Grell Hull, good evening. I hope all is well with all your guys. So we drop this track here before I slip out of here. Before I do that, let me remind you, if you're looking for your clothing, to check out Sister Laura Williams there at the TDC Mall right there on 4th Street. Check it out. You get anything you want there. Also, the man there down at the Frigate Bay, Brother Michael Clark there, the Jamrock restaurant. Lovely food, lovely entertainment. Brother Marshall there in the Frigate Bay area. Lovely food. You don't want to miss that if you visit the Federation. Those folks at the Spratnet there in Old Road, Brother Guijo's there, Station Street, Old Road. The Body Slam there in Newton Ground. Check him out on the weekend for his bullfoot and goat water and pigfoot and chicken and stuff. Also, my boy there, the Rassman there in Parsons. Love the bullfoot, goat water, cook up and everything there as well. Backway Bar there in the Parsons area. Check him out. Lovers Lane there, Sister Ailo. There in Tabernacle, check her out as well. Lovely food there, drink. Good place to hang out. Don't forget to check my cousin there, Gloria Hutchinson as well there on Cairn Street, Smart Fit. Right off 4th Street for your clothing and whatever needs. And there's the main location there at Central Street in the old Simaco building right next to Skelec. Just tell Gloria DJ Morrishaw sent you. Your back to school supplies and everything right there. You can't afford to miss it. My folks, don't forget, the folks in St. Paul's getting ready to do their T20 cricket tournament over there in the St. Paul's Pavilion there. Brother Ward, James Ward is in charge of it, starting on the 19th of August to the 30th of September. As a matter of fact, he sent me something here with the teams that are participating. So let me see if I can fight this real quick and send the message out there. Yeah, there's Young Guns versus Police Team, first game, and Ponenciana versus the St. Paul's Cricket Club. Those are the first two games that is coming up. That's the Young Guns versus the Police Sports Club, and the Ponenciana versus the St. Paul Sports Club. And the tournament will be taking place from the 19th of August to the 30th of September. Don't forget to check out the St. Paul's area there for this lovely game. In the meantime and between time, let me drop the unofficial anthem here for you good folks. Good evening to my cousin there, Brother Kent Bunny and Sister Pam there in the St. Thomas Virgin Islands. My favorite cousin there, Sister Natalie Carty, Sister Caroline, how you doing? Evelyn Blyden, Edlin Cannonier, how you doing? Good evening. My uncle there, Eustace Hutchinson, over there in the St. Croix area. Just want to touch base and wish all you guys the best. And at the end of the day, I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, 16th of August, as we come back to you with some special guests and continue having the conversation.
Your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Building a brand new nation, we'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Building a wall so massive or a bridge, don't care how small, as one tends to divide our people, the other unite us all. Unambitious men just cannot be a part of this community. Selfishness, a total lack of interest. No, I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours. still yours.
What now?
Misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in this harmony, separated politically, hatred for a brother cannot love each other. Let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
My good people, as the late great King Arrow said, the country is yours, all yours. And that is what the Prime Minister tried to explain this evening. He said he's not just putting a desk in a corner of a room, he's creating a secretariat and cast a wide net to capture the talent of our beloved citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, whether home, locally, regionally, or internationally. He's serious about bringing St. Kitts and Nevis together and to make sure our talent work for us and we work for our beloved federation as one unit. The King Arrow used to say, St. Kitts-Nevis one. That was his favorite topic. So I'm saying to you folks, St. Kitts-Nevis, we are one. Again, the Mill House Guest House there in Garvey's Estate. Brother Joseph Emmanuel, his number is 668-1392. Feel free to reach out and touch Uncle Joseph if you have any interest in place to stay, a party, weddings, whatever. Just reach out to Brother Joseph Emmanuel at area code 869-668-1392. Yes, Sister Jeanette Hull, thanks for reaching out to my uncle. You'll remember when you speak to uncle, you gotta tell him JefroyMorrishaw sent you, because he always reports everything to me. Everything that happens, he reports to me. Hi, Sister dear, hope all is well. How is the grandbaby? I want to say good evening one more time to Sister Cora Bennett. Thanks again for your continued support. Sister Tracy Powell, Tracy Jeffers, and everyone there in our beloved federation. The man Kenrick Williams Hicks, hope all is well with you as well there in the Virgin Islands. My nephew there, Brother Glenville Lawrence, hope all is well with you. My folks, in the meantime, in between time, God blessings on everyone as we come to the close of yet another event. I want to thank my boy there, Brother Ivor Henry, for his continued support. The man Eustace Hendrickson there in the Houston area. How are you doing, my brother? Brother Everson Harris there in the Toronto area. Sister Caitlin DeGuaya. Hope all is well with you folks there. Althea Henderson there in the Toronto area. Hope all is well with you folks as well. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, same place, same time, God willing. Until such time,